we're going to move on then to One Shot, where we're going to talk about reboots, spinoffs, and unnecessary sequels. So, of course, this is ripe for debate and controversy. There are a number of movies, TV shows that can be easily considered, all-time greats, past and present. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you decide to view it, each movie or TV show is not excluded from getting a reboot, having multiple spinoffs, or unnecessary sequels. But, how do you decide who gets what? I mean, of course, we know, Hollywood has a lot to do with it, as far as the subject on who's going to get what. If y'all hear that, as somebody, we live, y'all, we live. So somebody knocking at the door. I think it's somebody trying to sell something. So we're just going to go ahead and say no to that. But yeah, so as far as it's just depends, like who is in the room deciding what gets what, right? So when it comes to rebooting a movie or a TV property, and it can either be bad or it can be good. And, with rebooting, it gives a way to a new approach on the character, franchise, and mostly with a clean slate, while at the same time holding true to a few original factors of said character / franchise, the foundation. So a reboot, is more or less taking what was and bringing it back to life with either minimal or significant change to the core elements of the original work. Now, with spinoffs, those are usually a byproduct of the success of their predecessors. Like, for example, Walking Dead. Walking Dead was hugely popular among the masses. I was definitely counted among one of those. And, knowing the comic book world, I was all for it. But Walking Dead ended in the comic books, but it did not end with the show. So they had keep me honest out there, retcon fans, it's either 4 or 3 spinoffs.
Bro,
what are we doing here? We're milking the cow until the franchise cow is gone and dried up, And then there's sequels, right? Or continuations of a show or a TV. So like understandable sequels, they're continuations of the first movie that usually takes place a year or two after the original, unless you're James Cameron, then you got to wait 10 years for an Avatar sequel,
I still haven't watched that movie.
You still haven't watched that movie. My daughter would be mad at you because she loved
still
that
have
sequel.
not watched it.
It's on Disney
I just
Plus.
didn't
What you waiting for?
I know. I'll skip over it. I think I tried to watch it. I got through the credits and was like, I don't want to see this.
Well, so to you, that might be considered an unnecessary sequel. I'm gonna tell you what's my unnecessary sequel: Coming to America. And I'm just thinking, like, why? Like, you had this first one that was a classic. It had the elements that needed to have, and I'm like, okay, we're good. Like, who was clamoring for a sequel to Coming to America? Because it was a lot of rehashing of what happened in the first one, and then a lot of jokes, to me, they hit and miss. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like that was force fed. And then that's when I was like, did Hollywood run out of ideas? Right?
Yes.
But I mean, at the end of the day, what determines something will get a reboot, spinoff, or a sequel? And as I was researching this, I feel like it may be based down to 3 things. It's either Hollywood, the powers that be, right? Then of course the audience and the body of work. But I really think the audience is the least factor that determines it, right? Because we've seen so much of these sequels and spinoffs and reboots, and a lot of them have been missed. And I mean, like, missed, like they're not hitting their mark. And they couldn't possibly be thinking about the audience when they're doing this stuff.
No.
So let me ask you, Trey, because it's continual. It's happening. I mean, we're on what now? Because we're on The Batman with Robert Pattinson, but then we had Ben Affleck Batman prior to that. And then we had Christian Bale Batman. And then, of course, Val Kilmer, then George Clooney, then Adam West, and of course, Michael Keaton, who to me, in my mind, even though Adam West came prior to him, to me, Michael Keaton was he was the foundation as far. Nice.
Dude, this is the original Batman quick change Michael Keaton from Batman Returns, bro. He has on the original Batman suit.
Nice.
He's a better dude. Love this thing.
Nice. Nice. So he
Yeah.
launched it. He was the foundation of what a good Batman could be as far as that's concerned. But it's just so like, is there such a thing as reboot fatigue?
So it depends, right? So like I look at certain characters like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, like
Mhm.
they fall into like that James Bond category for me.
Yeah, yeah,
So like you can make a Batman movie from now to the end of time, and every couple of movies you'll change actors and there's a whole group of stories to tell.
yeah, yeah.
Um all of these things, honestly, I would push back a little bit. I think it's only one thing that determines these movies getting whatever rebooted, whether it's going to be
Uh-huh.
a necessary sequel. It's
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
It's
All
just
right.
money.
Bet, bet,
It's just
bet,
money.
bet,
You're right.
bet.
They don't care much about what the audience thinks, and they don't do much to gauge what they just say. Hey, you know what? We're going to make 14,000 Ghostbuster movies because they were huge in the '80s.
Right,
So, and I love the Ghostbusters, man, but I'm like, dude, at some point that's got to stop. But
right.
yeah, all of this stuff is just driven by money, man. And you're right, there's no original ideas. And
Hmm.
we're '80s babies, man. Not to date
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ourselves, but we're '80s babies. And
Hmm.
dude, like I remember the first time I watched Back to the Future,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it was magic to me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? We don't get that in movies now. That left in the '90s when everything became so big and was
Yeah,
about explosions and everything was
yeah,
just so.
yeah. And
But we don't have, yeah,
and it's interesting that you brought up Back to the Future because I read that the original director and creator, he owns like the rights to where he will. You have to get it green lit by him in order to
yeah,
do a reboot. And he's like, nah, don't touch this, don't touch this. And I commend him for
yeah,
that because, like, when anybody else, you throw enough dollar signs, they're like, sure, here you go, take a whack at it, But he's like, no, because he don't want to taint that, and I think that's that's commendable, because
yeah,
not everybody else would be able to stand on business like that to make sure that they're. I mean, he treated like and that's what we should do. That's the work should be treated like a baby. Like, this is my baby. Like, I don't want nobody treating it any type of way. You know, I just can't escape it. Like, they had on the CW Walker, like they brought back Walker, Texas Ranger.
yeah. Why,
Why? I mean,
bro?
why?
Was was that show really that popular back in the day?
I'm not gonna lie, I watched it myself. I mean, because like it was. So to me, Walker Texas Ranger was the crime show for everybody who wasn't watching Law and Order or NYPD Blue. So like, but there's
Yeah,
so many of those
yeah,
now out. Now you just throw a dart and you can land on a crime show. Really, honestly. But yeah, like so stuff like that. Like, but then you have X-Men '97 because I don't call it a reboot. I don't call that a revival. I think you and Doc has said it the right way. Like it's a continuation. It
yeah,
takes place right at where the X-Men left off. And you can
yeah,
check the receipt because the receipt is the animated show, the first original animated show, and it literally Professor X is quote unquote gone. He went to with the as Magneto. Oh, hold on, it's Doc back, so I won't do no spoilers. But anyway, he was considered dead to the world. He went off with the Shi'ar Queen Lilandra. And then they picked off like a year after that. So that to
yeah.
me is a continuation is done right. Now, what about the ones that are kind of you didn't know that were spinoffs? Like I was this old, bro, when I found out Frasier was a spinoff of Cheers, right?
You
But
didn't
it
know
didn't
that?
come off.
You didn't
I
know
know I
that?
didn't
I'm
know
back. See, I just came back.
that. Here he is.
You started talking about Iceman and you froze.
I
Yeah.
froze. It's a conspiracy. Power just like my
I'm
phone
telling
died. So my hotspot went out. My phone died. Ah, they didn't want to hear me, man. Anyway, I'm sorry. But
You
yes,
you.
good.
That's
You
funny.
good. You good.
Norm. Cheers. Yes. Frasier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
You
didn't
didn't
know
know that
that.
was a spinoff?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't know a spinoff.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying Frasier. Like
yeah.
this is good. And that was
Price
a
is
spinoff?
great too.
And the
Yeah,
continuity of it
yeah.
was it because you saw he wasn't always married to what was his wife's name? Because she
Can't
was a
remember his
Frasier's
psychiatrist as
wife.
wife.
well.
Yeah,
She was
I don't
she
know.
had
I
the
can't
blunt
remember her name.
affect when she was like really just, stoic. But that you
Yeah.
saw that
Lilith.
relationship happen during Cheers.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah,
have
Lilith. And from time to time, you would see
Lilith.
characters from Cheers pop up.
Yep.
right. Ted Danson popped up in there. Yep. And then I think he did like an
Yeah,
episode where they kind of had a reunion at an airport or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I watched all Frasier, man. Frasier's awesome.
So I'm
My
assuming he
wife put me
came
Frasier
on.
up
was great.
because he played Beast once.
Yes, of
No,
course.
but
Kelsey
that's
Grammer
yeah,
played Beast. The
Yeah.
one redeeming, okay, not redeeming, but one of the best parts of it. Well, and it's very little, but one of the best parts of X-Men: The Last Stand was we got Kelsey Grammer as Beast. I thought he was. I like whoever
excellent.
casted him, whoever had him in mind, did a phenomenal job. Because I mean, literally, you do talk just like he talks regularly in
He
Frasier.
did. It was a perfect cast. His suit was just garbage. He was too puffy.
And now they got him CGI looking.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
a
you
hard
saw the
character to
Marvels.
do, though. But he was a
Yeah,
perfect beast. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
perfect.
perfect beast. So Doc, we're talking about, of course, reboots, unnecessary sequels, and then
Movies or comics?
movies and TV shows,
Okay.
Yeah, and so we're landing talking about what determines if a spinoff or sequel or reboot is going to happen, and Trey hit it on the nail. Literally, it's money.
Oh, it's all money.
They don't care about the audience and the powers that be. They're the ones who make all the rules and everything. And my least favorite was Coming to America, the second Coming to America. I just thought, like, why did this even have to happen? This was
Right.
just terrible. And then we talked about what X-Men 97 is a continuation, so it's not really a reboot
Not a
at
reboot.
all.
Yeah.
It just picks up where it exactly left off, and then you came back to us as we talked about spinoffs. What were good spinoffs,
Right.
but to me, let me ask you guys, Doc, do you have a favorite reboot or a sequel or a spinoff? Something that was done right in your eyes. Like it can be anything, comic books, pop culture, whatever.
I'm gonna give you one movie, Blade 2. And that's one of the movies where a sequel was better than. Now I love Blade 1,
Yeah,
but there's not many movies where a sequel is better than the original. Another
yeah,
one, why I don't want to say it's better, but it was doggone good, was Aliens. Because
yeah,
Alien was good because it set the stage, and that's what Blade did. But then that Aliens with the Marines, it
yeah,
was a whole nother like phenomenon. And
yeah,
Blade 2 with the introduction of the Reapers, oh my God. Like that
yeah.
was yeah, those off the top of my head, those are two that I thought were like good sequels, where they did it justice. Everything after that was garbage, but
Okay.
Batman.
I was about to say,
Oh
what about
yeah,
Batman Returns? Was that better than the first Batman?
because they introduced Catwoman.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna
Batman
say that's better.
Returns. Yeah, I'll be honest. Batman Returns for a long time was my favorite Batman movie. For a
Okay,
I'm gonna say it's better.
long time.
yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
For a
It's
long time.
best
and it's
best
not taken.
Catwoman.
They never take away from the first one because the first
No.
one set it off.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
But
right,
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
see that. Danny
Yeah.
DeVito,
right.
great Penguin. Like
Great Penguin.
I mean,
happened to DC. They used to cast so good.
what you mean? They cast Henry Cavill, Superman.
Man,
Yeah.
Perfect.
Henry Cavill is trash, bro. Why do people keep saying
Whoa,
Henry
whoa,
Cavill?
whoa! Hold on. We're going somewhere else with this. We need to stay on subject because I don't know. You
Bro,
hurt my feelings with that
Wait
one. You
a
hurt my feelings with that
minute.
one.
Whoa.
You hurt my feelings with that one.
listen.
You hurt my feelings.
Henry Cavill looks like Superman, but he can't act to save his life. He's better now. But back then, he was terrible, bro. Man. I'm gonna pull up a stat that's going to shock you.
Give me your top 3 Supermen.
I don't want to hear
Man,
it.
it's only been like 2 of them.
After that comment, I don't want to hear it.
So
It's
he's
been a,
got to
it's
be.
been,
Listen, Henry Cavill has to be top 3. It's only been like 3 of them.
who's your top 1
I
then?
mean,
Christopher
he number
Reeve.
one. Well,
Okay,
Christopher
that's
Reeve.
Christopher
Number
Reeve
easy.
all
one.
day.
That's
Christopher
easy.
Right.
Okay.
Listen, he'll be number 2. I'll go Christopher Reeve, Henry Cavill, Brandon Routh.
There you go. All right, then that's good. I'm
Yeah,
good
he's
with that.
number two. He's
We'll
number
see where
two.
old
You
buddy
know who's my
comes in
three?
when the movie comes out.
My third is Smallville.
Oh right, you can't forget Tom Welling.
Tom
I
Yeah.
would,
Welling.
yeah. I'll put him above Brandon. I might put him number two, bro.
Tom
Oh,
Welling
now
got a
see, you
special
messing with me
place in my
because
heart,
like I love Tom
and
Welling,
he never
and
flew.
right, man, you
That
helped
Right.
me rewatch
look.
the whole series again. Like I already did that 2 years ago. Man,
Because
so
guess what? Guess who's the best freaking Luther? Same series.
Yeah, yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Rosenbaum.
Michael Rosenbaum.
Michael
Yeah,
Rosenbaum.
yeah.
Nobody can
Mhm.
touch that dude in my mind. Like, and I'm like growing up with Gene Hackman, who was quite humorous, but
Here is a
Right,
stat
I'm
that
listening.
proves my point that Henry Cavill
Listening.
can't act.
I'm
mm,
listening.
He was Superman in The Man of Steel. You know how many lines he had? 42.
Wait,
huh.
what?
He
That's it.
had
42.
That whole
42
movie.
lines. The entire movie, 42 lines.
He gonna make me
Dude
have to watch
But
that
cannot act,
movie
bro.
again.
He cannot act. They hid him in those movies. He just looks exactly like Superman. He looks exactly like Superman. But dude can't act, man.
Huh.
And I have a theory that Henry Cavill gets grace for these two reasons. One, he looks like Superman. And two, the movies that he was in weren't real well received. So people think he was underutilized or he was
Mm.
used the wrong way, which the characterization of Superman in those Zack Snyder movies were terrible. But Henry Cavill had no lines.
Hmm. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this.
I don't know what to
I
say.
actually like Man of Steel.
And I like Man of Steel. I really do. But Henry Cavill can't act, man. He can't
Huh.
act.
We're gonna move on
Oh,
because I'm not feeling the space we're at with this. But since we're on Henry Cavill, Man of Steel, you know, would that be considered a reboot? Because it's just
I don't.
yeah.
so does that reboot word not apply to comic books then? Because
To me, no.
okay,
To
okay,
me, no. Because to me, it's no different than, in comics,
Yeah.
they're different. Well, in comics, they're different stories, they're different storylines, they're different, all
They
kinds of
telling the
things.
story again.
hmm
They basically
Yeah,
told his origin story again.
I get that. But I guess to me, it's like, to me, and I was saying this to Josh earlier, like I look at superheroes, particularly superheroes in a world of their own, right? So Man of Steel, just the movie itself, Superman was by itself. We didn't know that Batman and versus Superman was coming. So to
right, right,
me,
right, right, right.
comic book characters kind of live in the same space as James Bond to me. Like they can last
Okay.
for generations. You can have different people play them. You can tell different stories. Like
Mhm.
I don't look at comic unless we're talking about universes, right? Like you might have to like Marvel is in the process of rebooting their Marvel universe.
Right,
Then
right.
so when you talk about universes when all the characters are going to change
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you spent decades telling all of these stories that were meant to merge into one event and all of that stuff, to me that's a little
Mm.
different. But when we're talking about like one-offs, I don't think they're reboots. Like I don't look at the Batman as a reboot of a Batman movie. Like I think it's a
Okay,
completely different story. It's a completely different, and I look at it like,
gotcha.
I read The Dark Knight Returns, but I also read Batman Year One. That's kind of how I look at it.
Okay, so okay, all right. So then, how do you feel about spinoffs? Because even with comic books, like for example, we have the Penguin that's coming out, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a spinoff series of the Batman saga. Like uh, is it going to be good? Because sometimes
You
when
have
they
to
do
have an
spinoffs, it's
epic
terrible. Like I
storyteller
think
to
about
make
Friends. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
you have to have an epic storyteller to make that dude interesting to me. Like, I don't know if you can carry like they have the Penguin book out there. I don't know how
Yeah.
much longer it's gonna last. People say it's really good actually, but
Oh,
I have a lot of people like picking it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's like it definitely even though comic books can sounds like the movies and the TV shows, they kind of can operate differently than anything that's not comic books or related. but they still have the potential to bomb, right? I think about Friends. Friends, of course, everybody. Now, unpopular opinion, I've never watched Friends.
Me neither.
Never watched Friends, but I know Joey tried to do a spinoff, and then that was terrible. That didn't do too good. So it's just like there's so I guess it's Hollywood's just about that
Well,
money.
there's
They're
the thought process that Friends was just a reboot of Living Single.
Man,
My
say
God.
that again for the
Let's
people
go.
in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a reboot, Trey? Or that
Bro.
just an outright?
Because Living Single came
That's
out first.
that is theft.
Grand
That's
larceny.
Bro, that's horrible.
Oh,
That was
boy.
horrible.
I'm sorry, I digress. We do a lot of digressing. Okay, go ahead.
We do.
We do.
That should be a shirt. I digress.
I know.
Yeah.
So my last
man.
on because we talk about reboots, unnecessary sequels, and of course money is the big thing. Like, will this make some money? But what about diversity? Do you feel like diversity plays a part in, like, so for example, even with comic books, and we talked about this, where comic books, back in the 40s or 50s and 60s, a lot of their characters, of course, they were Caucasian, and there wasn't too many people of color being created in these characters, but we're seeing so much diversity fully fleshed out, when these TV shows or these movies, they're doing their reboots. I mean, and to get back on Man of Steel, we had Lawrence Fishburne play Perry White, and I thought that was okay, cool, that's good, but see, Lawrence Fishburne can act, so it's not a matter of diversity for diversity's sake. So do you feel like that plays a big part or a small part, depending on your opinion?
About the whole race and gender swapping thing in past episodes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's pulled off because of the greatness of the actor, and you can look. Some people just are not going to look past that. They're like, nope, this person. Like, I mean, they did it with Jim Gordon in the Batman, right?
Right.
They did it then, and you're like, oh, okay. They did it with, well, not really with Catwoman. I mean, the comic she's always white, but then we always have Eartha Kitt, Ma.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But still, it's one of those things where I think sometimes the actor can make you, forget, and it becomes okay. This was well done, regardless of it. I can see past that. For some people, they don't even give it a chance. Like right off the bat.
Right.
I mean, we're going. Let's look at this. Hunger Games. Rue in the books was black. She was described as black. She was in the doggone district that was filled with people of dark skin. They essentially was picking cotton. Come on now. She gets to the doggone movie. There's an uproar. People are freaking like lashing out, and they're like, "What's the problem?" They mad because Rue was black. They felt like she should be white, and it was preposterous. Like, how could you think she was anything other than that? So this was a character that was meant and created black. Okay. Now you take somebody that has been known for decades since their inception to be white, and you just race switched them.
Or gender.
It's a weird. I struggle with this. I go back and forth with it all the time. But before I continue, Jesus.
I know.
Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
That episode good times, but they was like, man, that's just Dan DeWino.
Dude, the face that they've painted Jesus as for centuries is a real dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a dude that was up to some nefarious things.
Right.
And so I'll jump off of that. I digress. But
you put a pin on that. Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
We need, you know what? Every time we digress, Trey, can you add a thing where it goes ding? Can you put that in there?
Well, I will do it. I will do it. Yeah, I go back and forth, man. Like I think I've come to the conclusion that secondary characters are acceptable. Superman is never sometimes. Right. But I think the motivation is the key. Like if you're just if you're race swapping somebody for the sake of race swapping somebody, for the sake of diversity, for fulfilling a quota, I do have a problem with that. But I do think, and I think that at this point there are enough black characters
Right.
that you can introduce these really. I mean, that's one thing I'll give like James Gunn, man. Like James Gunn has the cojones to bring Mr. Terrific into a mainstream
Right.
Superman story, right? And you're gonna see him in really the first DC movie. And
Mhm.
so like that's a cool thing. Let's introduce those black characters. But
Mm.
I accepted long ago that I'm probably never gonna get to play Batman in a movie. And that's
Right.
okay. I'm all right
You
with
play
that.
Jace?
You're good with that? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but I also think they misuse people. Like, I don't think the
because
build up for like I don't think Falcon, Anthony Mackie, I don't think he should have he should have been given the shield. I think the shield should have been given to Bucky. And now
Which
they're making
I agree with that.
let's give Shield first in the comic books. Bucky, when Cap had died at the end of after Civil War, and he was supposed to go to court and all that, he died, which he was killed by Sharon Carter, who was brainwashed by Armin Zola and Dr. Faustus. Bucky took on the mantle of Cap. Interestingly enough, he wasn't given the mantle like Sam was given the mantle by Cap, because it's a lot to keep up with. But Bucky he took on the mantle of Captain America first, and then in the comic books, Sam Wilson became Captain America. But the difference is that Cap died and Bucky picked it up, whereas Cap he had lost the super soldier serum at some point, and he was how old he should have been had he never been in the ice.
Right.
And so he on to Sam Wilson. So I commend the Marvel Studios for at least being able to capture that essence. But you're saying he shouldn't have been Captain America?
And it's only because of this. They didn't make Falcon interesting enough leading up until the point where he got the shield. So when he got the shield, it didn't feel like he deserved it.
Right.
To me, it felt like Bucky deserved it at that
Right.
point.
Do you feel like Falcon the Falcon and the Winter Soldier didn't help make him more interesting? You don't think?
No, I just didn't care about that show. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I just didn't care about the show. And no, I don't think it made him. Because the whole thing was like, by the time Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out, he had already been given the shield.
Yeah.
So now I gotta accept that he's been given a shield when I don't think the character earned it throughout the course of 10 years. He
didn't think he deserved it.
Right, he did. So
Isaiah,
now you make a movie.
The good thing about that show was the introduction of Isaiah.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. But to me, it's like, so now you take a character who you didn't make interesting. You gave him the shield. What did Iron Man tell Spider-Man in what's the first Homecoming?
Homecoming.
Yeah.
If you're nothing without the suit, then you're nothing at all, or something to that degree.
If you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if what's going to make me interested in Falcon isn't Falcon, but it's the fact that he has the shield now, I'm not interested.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, you're not going to see Brave New World then.
I mean, I'll see it, but like I'm not. I'll see it because I love comic book movies. I'm not gonna see it. Look, bro, I saw Marvels, bro.
Oh my gosh, in the theaters?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry.
I did buy it though on Amazon Prime.
But here's the
You
deal.
bought it? What?
During that time period, there was a lot of outcry about him because it felt like it was a race of, just kind of doing it just to satisfy, the whole woke crowd, with Falcon becoming in the comics, becoming Captain America. Like there was a big issue with that.
Yeah.
But then it felt kind of forced. Once again, when have you ever seen Falcon have a successful solo comic? You really haven't.
Right.
Right.
It starts up and then it fizzles out.
Right. But you put Captain America with him on it, and then now this has a fighting chance. Right. So I think we've come to the conclusion that sequels, reboots, they can be unnecessary, but it's really all about the money, and we're just along for the ride. We need more people like I can't think of my dude's name who directed and created Back to the Future. We need more people like
Robert
that. What's the name?
Robert Zemeckis.
Thank you. Because we need more people like Robert. Because we needed somebody to say no to the sequel of Coming to America. I just can't express how much I hate that. My wife is tripping on me like, I thought it was good. No, it's not good. They rehashed a lot of old stuff, and I hate to say it, but unpopular opinion, the sequel to Anchorman wasn't as good as the first one. And I'm thinking we didn't need a sequel to Anchorman. Though I love me some Ron Burgundy, though. I quote the first movie every chance I get. 60% of the time it works every time. I'm so grateful that X-Men 97 is not part of that. It's just a continuation. So maybe that's the formula. Maybe they just need to try continuations of things that are good instead of rebooting it for reboot's sake, because it could be hit or miss,
But here's the caveat to it. If you make it good, it's okay.
Right.
Just make it good.
Right.
The reason you think that Coming to America was unnecessary is because you thought it was bad. But if it would have been actually good, you'd have been like, man, I didn't know. Look at Bad Boys. How long did it take for all these Bad Boys sequels to happen?
Right. Interestingly enough, we're getting them almost back to back. Because the second one, between the second one and the third one, had to been like a 15-year gap or something.
Dude, it was forever.
Right. And then now
it was almost 20 years.
What was the gap between the first Terminator and the second one?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it was. That was 8. It's probably about 12 years.
Look at that. And both of those movies like that, and what the leap that they made with the I forget, the T-2000 or whatever.
Yeah.
That dude killed it. That movie was perfect. And then the trash came after that.
Who directed the Terminator movie?
Right.
Yeah. But not enough is also. But not enough is also talked about. The first Terminator movie was largely a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
The second Terminator movie was an action film.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. You're right. I just glossed past the horror part because Arnold just he does a great job being a robot.
Yeah.
You remember that scene where he had to basically cut out his eye and he had to cut off kill the artificial.
Yeah.
Horror movie. Okay.
It was a horror movie. It was good. Right. I think look, man, the cure to all of these ills is just make good content.
Good movies,
That's it. That's it.
Facts. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and hit the third base and take it home with Doc's recommendations. So Doc, what is out in the comic book world that people just need to get a hold of? Like they need to come to Doc's basement and ask you and bug you about this book. What do you have?
Man, we fell off at the wrong time. There's several books, but right off the Ultimate Universe, it was something that I was, largely against. I was like, what is this? It's trash. Why are you doing this again? And they came back and I changed my tune because I saw one picture. And we've talked about this, I saw Peter with a family. I'm like, what? He was with Mary Jane and their 2 kids. And I said, you know what? I got to pick this up. Best decision I ever made. That book is on 7th printing.
7th? Oh, goodness.
7th. That book, the first, if you look it up online, the first print, and it's because it's a great story. I couldn't stop telling people about it. It is a story. It is what we've been talking about forever and what we needed to see in Peter. Some people to a point where they read and they say, it's hard for me to read it because I feel like this can't last. It's that good. And then they followed it up with Ultimate Black Panther. Oh my goodness.
That's pretty good.
Oh, it is phenomenal. That one is on 4th printing of the first issue. Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, so the Ultimate Universe coming strong. I haven't read the Ultimates yet, but everybody's been pretty happy with it so far. So that seems like a win. And they have the Ultimate X-Men, which is a little bit different because Peach, Momoko. So I'm gonna just sum it up. Go try to find a copy if you can locate one of Ultimate Spider-Man. And it's one of those good, let me just tell you this. The book has made me like J. Jonah Jameson. Can you hear me say this?
Okay.
First issue, I said, oh my God, I like J. Jonah Jameson. Okay, like that. So
Nice.
paradigm change. X books, great time because once again, the House of X, Fall of the House of X, Rise of the Powers of X, just about to start. So if you can get on that, new start, a bunch of the X titles about to reboot with the new teams. They've done a good job. I've not read X-Men 35, which is actually X-Men number 700 legacy numbering, but from a reliable source, because I got to catch up on a couple of things, they said it is a phenomenal story. So, but outside of that realm,
Yeah.
a couple of other good titles that I was like looking into, but those are the main ones right off the top of my head. Like the
Okay.
Ultimate books, they've
Yeah.
done a really, really good job with that stuff. So
Okay. Anything DC at all that you can think on top of your
DC is
head, or
doing bad, man.
never
DC is
mind then about it.
DC is doing bad. Indies are good. If you can now, so if I was gonna go from and I'm sorry, Blood Hunt. Blood Hunt from
Okay.
Marvel, another one. Oh my
That's
god.
with the vampires, right?
That's with the vampires. They have two editions. They have the regular one and the red band version. The red band version has like 4 additional pages. They're polybag because it just says mature content on it. Like
Wow.
the
Okay.
1 in 25 are going for like $300. But they are the most graphic Marvel books out there that I have ever seen to date. Pick it up. It's a 5-part series. It's their summer event. It's awesome. A lot of our heroes are vampires right now. There's a Blood Hunt, issue 2 of Blood Hunt. Black Panther just came out. T'Challa is one.
No.
Yeah, you got to get it. You got to get it. From DC standpoint, the only thing they're coming out with right now is the Absolute Power storyline, which
Yeah.
hopefully that'll be their saving grace. That's coming up. It's about to drop.
That's
And
not that's
basically,
Amanda Waller, right? Kind
Amanda
of.
Waller, she basically does a Wanda Maximoff. No more superheroes, no more
Oh
powers.
wow.
And so
Okay.
I don't know how that's gonna work with your boy Batman. I'm like, is she gonna
Right.
make him a
Because he ain't got no
doofus?
powers, so
Like
he good.
that's the only thing I can think of. He becomes
He's
dumb or
Batman.
something. But that's the story. Now
Straight
from
answer. He Batman.
Indy, the whole Energon universe that they're doing with Transformers. Oh my God. You talk about books that are on 8th printings now.
Oh
Transformers
wow.
#1, that dude, they're doing a wonderful job. It started off with Void Rivals, and basically it's G.I. Joe and Transformers together in the same universe.
Ooh,
Void
nice.
Rivals, and it is amazing. They're
Nice.
doing a great job with it. And one of the things I will say this. I had a choice. They do these little mini series with spotlights. So they did Duke and
Mhm.
Cobra Commander was the first
Yeah,
one. They
yeah.
did Scarlet and Destro right now. I enjoyed Cobra Commander more than I did Duke. Cobra
Oh
Commander was freaking
man.
awesome.
Enjoy the bad guy more than the good guy.
I
Okay.
did. It was a good story. So, there's some good stuff out there right now. But those will be my top, my Marvel, my DC, and my indie for right now.
Bet. And please, y'all, make sure if you are in the North Carolina area, Belmont specifically,
Belmont.
to Doc's basement. Hit him with that address, Doc.
427 East Catawba Street, Suite B. That's the basement on the second floor. Belmont 28012.
Make sure when you see Doc, you throw up the twos,
Gotta throw the two.
Yeah, I made it.
We're on the second floor.
So not,
The second.
not from but the second floor.
Brother Bear from the, what was it?
Fifth
We
floor.
all
Fifth floor.
right?
Fifth floor. Fifth floor.
Bet.
I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, bro. We haven't had a power out. Like, that's crazy that happened.
On our
Wow.
back, right. Hey, I look at it as a good sign. It means we're doing something, man. That means we're
What's
doing
up?
something.
I
Hey,
think they get me from the Scarface, the Hove. Brad and Hove. They were not
I
happy.
said
But
no.
guess who's back?
That copyright striking while you record nowadays.
Right. Man, I gotta say,
Uh,
good man, and I love you fellas, man. And we were at the Comic-Con in Gastonia. For those who don't know, we were at the public library Gastonia Comic-Con, and it was like the Avenger tagline played in my head. And then there came a day unlike any other. And then, we had no idea that all of us were going to be there at the con. And it was just like, okay, yeah, this is God's doing,
Yeah.
like it's time. So Return of
That's
the
what they
Mac.
said. They were like, it's time. You ready? I'm like, I'm ready. Just let's do
That's it. That's it.
Oh, man.
So, man, with that being said, we thank y'all for tuning in. Again, please, if you're not already, be a subscriber. Hit that subscribe, like button, comment, set your notifications up. Make sure it's not on silent unless you're trying to get some sleep. Nah, don't worry about sleep. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and just leave it on sound. So when you hear a notification at 12 a.m., you're like, now why did Retcon put up something this late? I'm trying to get some sleep. Let me going on. Go ahead, and we appreciate it. And before we go, I want my fellows here to help me brainstorm a way to a name for those who love Retcon, because everybody asked about Retcon. A lot of people asked about Retcon at the Comic-Con, and we got to give a shout out, of course, to Doc who's helping out with the merch. We saw the cards, he texted in the group, and we got the shirt. Fine, it's morbidly obese. Okay, I'm there. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? If you see me on the street, I don't know, see me on the street or see me somewhere and be like, it's morbidly obese, I won't shoot you.
Do it. Own it.
I'm gonna make sure you a subscriber, because if you ain't a subscriber, you can't say that.
Can't do it. Nah. Right? This only fam can do this.
Right, only fam can.
I got the cards. I got the cards.
You got the cards. My bad, Trey. My bad.
You got the cards.
Trey got the cards. Doc got the shirt. I'm gonna work on coming up with it. So we're gonna call everybody. Let's see. How about Rhett Cognacs?
Oh boy, I thought you were gonna say something crazy.
I know.
I saw the possibilities.
Number 2.
I always want to. What you thought I'm about to say?
Rick Cognac.
I can't say it.
Oh, don't say it. What about Rhett?
Who?
That was a joke. I wasn't serious with that. Don't make a shirt out of it. Okay. All right, please.
Yeah.
It's a derivative off of the word con. So what about Red Connoisseurs? What's going on, Red Connoisseurs? That don't sound right, do it?
Let's think about it. We'll ponder.
Let's workshop it.
Yeah, let's workshop. Yeah.
In the meantime, between time, thank you all to the Retcon fans and followers. We love you guys. And please make sure to let us know how we're doing. If there's something that you want us to talk about, go ahead and shoot it in the comments. Let us know. But until next time, go ahead and sign us off, Trey.
Before you do that, Trey, can I just say, I'm sorry, I got to digress. Can we show Papa Josh some love?
Yeah.
Yeah. You deserve that. You
got one on the way.
Got one on the way.
Shirt.
Yeah.
Father's Day.
Yes.
That's cool.
Congratulations to you, brother.
Congratulations, brother.
That strong little lady. Yes.
Yes. Oh, what a strong lady. Powerful.
Yeah.
My God. And God is good. Yes. Good. Should be due December. So December, baby.
Best blessing.
Name is Anaya Diamond Holston.
Nice.
Let's go. Congratulations.
We can't get out of here without that. Nah. We got to show some acknowledgement and love. So congratulations to you, brother.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you.
Now go ahead, Trey. I'm sorry.
Usually say same bat time, same bat channel, but can we say
bad? There we go. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bad. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
All right.